Hey everyone, Dave here. Welcome to a new Raid Shadow Legends video. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the least favorite part in Raid Shadow Legends for me, and probably for a few of you as well, which is Hydra. Hydra, as boring as it is, many retries. Well, I know some people who like it, but yeah, uh, it it's becoming more and more a necessity if you want to advance into in-game. If you don't have Mithrala yet, she's an amazing champ. You must go for her. You need more stone skin if you're doing arena and you don't like to swap gear all the time. So, yeah, Hydra is becoming more and more one of the steady parts of the game that we need to work on. And it's one of the least enjoyable parts because of the frustration, many retries, the huge amount of RNG regardless of your level of gear and stats on the champs. So what everybody is going for here, let's just do another dragon run while we're talking. So what everybody is going for here is to have a single team, or preferably at least two teams for your three keys, because one of the frustrating things about Hydra is that you cannot use the same champs for multiple keys. So you want to have one or two teams that can run on all rotations, so that can manage all hits with the same team, no swapping, no save teams, no all of this craziness that you save 10 teams for Hydra, because the problem is not saving them. The problem is actually building those teams for that specific need with those crazy stats. So it's better to invest in building only one team that runs through all rotations, or two teams. So if you're early to mid game, your target is just to hit normal. Normal is not so bad. You can achieve the 7 million for the 1 key normal. And if the whole clan is active, you can bring it down, get 2 chests per week, and start collecting Mithrala fragments. If you're advancing into mid game, you want to be hitting hard, or hopefully, depending on where your clan stands, you can down, like, let's say, one key a normal, one key on hard, so you can get 4 chests per week. In our clan, for example, we started pushing also brutal, so we're downing normal, hard, and brutal every week to get those 6 chests if we can. For example, this week is a bad rotation, and I don't have the time and energy to keep retrying, so I might be skipping it. But yeah, so you're targeting like Nightmare is too tough for most players. So if you're getting into in-game, I would say that Brutal would be a good, if you can one key Brutal, that's great. You can help your clan by 2 keying it if the clan is not too strong. Get Brutal down, get Brutal down, get 2 good chests from there, and maybe then use a third on hard if you have a third team. So building one or two Hydra teams that works on all rotations. That's the target. I'll show you a run for the first teams that I've built. It still needs tweaking, but I'll show you the idea, the important buffs and debuffs to have on the team. And then, well, that can be a good one. Uh, and then we'll talk about the process of how to build those champs and how to stack the proper stats on them. So let's check first the recording, and while the recording is being played, I will talk about the buffs and debuffs and the champs that need to be in the comp. So this is a recording, I think it was on the previous rotation, for my first all rotations Hydra team. We'll check the team, what they're doing. We'll speed up, of course, because that's a bit too long of a run. And then we'll talk about the champs and the builds and what stats do you want on them there. So if you see my team from the buffs and debuffs being played, of course, Duchess is one of the best support champs in the game, if not the best. She's mitigating the damage all the teams received. She got continuous heals when she revives someone. She revives everyone. She gets those veils are good for the head of, what do you call it? Well, that fear head, that silly head, one of the silliest. It's not in this rotation, but like I said, we're building a team for all rotations. So Duchess here is filling multiple roles, and that's what you need. When Hydra was first released, we thought that 6 champs per team might be too many, but then there is not enough champs to fill in the role. One of the champs has been eaten here. Uh, and then, so what? Let's talk through the roles that you need on this team. I have Ugo, I have Duchess, I have my Molly built for this, then Venus, Acresia, and Rotos as damage dealers. And I'll walk you through the process there. So let's check what's needed for a proper Hydra team. So this is my fancy notepad, and let's check what buffs and debuffs we need. And I've tried to arrange them with the priority there to figure out like what we need to build that one team for all rotations. So first, very important, the buff here is AoE block buffs. Why do we need this? Actually, we need this for two of the heads, so probably it's needed on all rotations. The first head is this head here. I'm not good with the names, but yeah, if it's the same team for all rotation, it doesn't matter. This is the head that puts up the poison cloud. So the poison cloud will make all of your hits on the Hydra heads weak hits. So you want to put block buffs here to prevent this. One of the best champs for this is Ugo, because Ugo is also bringing removal of heal reduction or removal of the buffs, healing, and yeah, a conditional sort of revive that might not be used, but she's a great support champ with the healing debuff removal and that decrease down and block buffs. So the other champ that comes to mind, which was a recent fusion that I advised going for, is Mighty Uku. Mighty Uku is also great. He brings also a few things to the Hydra team, not only this. So if I'm thinking about a replacement here, it's Ugo and Mighty Uku. Who else can do this task? For example, Umbral Enchantress. But the thing is, with Umbral, she's not bringing much there. She'll put the blue buffs if she's fast enough. Or if you have a secondary provoker, she can also provoke that hit that cleanses. So multiple roles there, which brings us to the second debuff, which is provoke. Provoke is only needed and it works only on one head, that head on the left hand side that keeps cleansing everyone. If the Hydra keeps cleansing, it's allowing Hydra heads to put buffs on themselves and cleansing your defense down and weaken, cleansing your block buffs, cleansing your poisons, your burns, whatever, your attack down for that nasty damage dealing hit. So you need like that cleansing hit to be provoked all of the time. There is a lot of provoker, like the one I'm building for my second team that's not built yet is Bevald of the Thorns. Molly is one of the best provokers also, because there's 50% chance that this provoke will go on for 2 turns. Also, when she's hit, she boosts the turn meter for everyone. She can revive a single target and put block damage on them, so she's a good candidate there. Bevald is the second one that came to mind, though there is multiple provoke champs in the game. I think that War Chief also is a good option there, but Bevald has 2 skills that applies that provoke, and also he heals the team and he's HP based, so he's tanky. He also can apply the provokes on weak hits, so affinity won't matter here with the rotation changed. So AoE block buffs and provokes. AoE decrease attack. It's good because on the higher difficulties, if we talk about hard, brutal, and nightmare, if you're building for nightmare, I'm not there yet. Some of the hits can hit pretty hard, and specifically that orange fury one, it slams really hard and it puts attack up on itself. So if you don't have decrease attack, she can wipe the whole team. So decrease attack is a very desirable debuff for your Hydra team. I think in this one, I don't actually have a decrease attack champ. Like I said, you cannot have it perfectly, but because I have like a couple of very solid, like 3 support champs, so I'm okay. I can survive this and can one key even brutal. That key wasn't brutal, and that's my first team for one key brutal there. So decrease attack, decrease defense, and we can put weaken also here. Basically, those are the debuffs helping you to inflict more damage on the heads. So as longer you have these up, the more damage you can do. Sustainability is important for the team. Here I'm having 3 actually. So I'm having Duchess, Molly because she's a reviver, and then Ugo also provides heals and buff cleansing there. So on higher difficulties like hard and brutal, you need at least 2 support champs on the team. And then the last spot here, these are desirable but less important buffs and debuffs. So that's why I've put them here. Probably I won't talk about them. But last point here is minimum 2 damage dealers on the team, preferably with enemy max HP for higher difficulties. Why at least 2? Because I think that's enough about like what's needed. I'll bring this up again later on so you can view it and work on it. Sorry, or take a screenshot or whatever. Because like you see here, for example, 2 of my damage dealers are down. If I don't have a third one, I'm stopped making damage. And what's even worse is that Hydra heads will target your damage dealers, at least for that first eating they'll do. And if they do this, you don't have anyone left to inflict enough damage to get whoever champ that was eaten back. So having at least 2 damage dealers here will help you get those champs back when they get eaten. The other thing is that later towards the end of the run, when you achieve that 1 key or whatever, and you don't want to do another retry because that takes a long time, if one of the damage dealers is eaten, you can still continue and get like better results beyond that 1 key with whoever you have left. And as you're seeing here, that's why having certain champs that do multiple roles is very important, because there is so many roles to fill here. So for example, Ugu, she's support, cleansing, healing, revive if she's the only one who survives there, and she puts block buffs and decreased defense. Duchess is straight support, but she also provides those veils for the head of that fear head that pops up. Molly is support because she's boosting the turn meter. She's a reviver, and she also applies provokes on that cleansing head. And then here, like Venus is a debuffer and a damage dealer. Rotus straightforward damage dealer, and of course Acrasia is straightforward damage dealer there. So like I said, you need people fulfilling more than one role there. If you tell me I don't have Rotos, I don't have Acrasia, these are just rules. Put damage dealers here, put your provokers, and I'll tell you about a couple of other options and how I'm building them for the second team. Like, yeah, so I'm building 2 teams for Brutal, and hopefully I can have a third one eventually. So if I can 1 key Brutal, Hard, and normal, I can help my clan. Or if I can stack enough stats, maybe even climb to Nightmare. We're not there yet, it's pretty difficult. So you see here, it's looking pretty sketchy, but I think what I'll do here is if Molly revives Duchess, we can be back in the game. So you see here, that's what I've done. And let me fast forward a bit here just to show you towards the end of the run and what happens here. Because the heads kept exchanging, you see 30 million is 1 key for Brutal. But of course, you want to build that team as best as you can, because you want, if you only achieve the 1 key, your clan might not be able to get Brutal down. So if you can achieve 40, 50 with that single team, because probably your secondary and tertiary teams won't be as strong, then yeah, do some retries and make sure you get enough damage there. For me, I think that ended here because that took me half an hour, and probably that wasn't the first retry. So I was just sick of it. I wanted to get it done. But yeah, so that's my 1 key Brutal team. After this, we'll get into the champ builds and see how I've built these champs to do this damage. So what stats are needed for Brutal Hydra? If you notice on that notepad, I told you it's coming back, I've written them down here, and I think that those lower ones are for hard. When I started building for hard, I thought that the difference between hard and Brutal is not that much, so let me push my gear a little bit further and build for Brutal. So this is for Brutal. Nightmare is even tougher, and I'll show you where to get this info from Hell Hades website in case you want to check them for lower, in case your gear is not good enough, lower difficulties or higher ones for Nightmare. 50k HP, this is the recommendation because anything lower than this, definitely on your support champs, you'll be getting down, you'll be dying too frequent within the run, and you won't be able to inflict enough damage. 3k defense, so definitely those top 2 are for support. If you have an enemy max HP champ, then start try to get them close to these stats so they have some survivability. Speed wise, you need your champs to be at least 250 speed, 230 for hard, and it's very important, at least for your provoke and AoE block buffs champ, to be the fastest. The others one can fall a bit behind, but you want to make sure to provoke the head that cleanses, and you put block buffs before the head that puts the poison cloud gets the first turn and use those skills. So those two champs, the provoker and the AoE block buffs, need to be over 250 speed, 350 accuracy, 270 for hard. So here there is a bit of a gap there. If you want to build for hard and not brutal, you have some leeway with the accuracy, but 350 for brutal, and then 450 resistance. And why I wrote here you don't need it, because what are you resisting? If you have Duchess or someone like Rector Droth, someone putting Veil on the team, so you're not getting those fears are irresistible anyway. That's why Hydra is so silly. But yeah, anyway, the other stuff, the poisons and all of that. If you have enough support, you'll keep cleaning those and healing. Even if they steal your buffs, you have block buffs on them, so it wouldn't matter. That head that keep the mischief head that keeps stealing buffs there. So yeah, resistance is not needed. I've built some on mine, but that might be for other areas in the game. So let's see how I build those champs, just to show you my build there. My Rotos, so this is the same build in Lethal that I've showed you in a separate video when I was comparing Rotos and Phoenix. He's too slow, but that's like max damage build on my end. He's even too slow for arena and all purposes. I'm too lazy to regear him, but you need him to be at least, even for the damage dealers, around 200. My Venus is also built for my dungeon runs. Immunity is just for additional buff for Seers. So you see here, 230. That's not bad. As I said, for your debuffers and your damage dealers, you can afford for them to be a bit lower on speed. But then she doesn't have enough accuracy, but she's good enough for brutal anyway. Who else do we have on the team? I'll show you first the ones from that specific team, and then we'll go to the other ones. So if we go to Molly, my Molly is in Relentless. So that's also one of the good tips. Molly's provoke is on 3 turns cooldown. So she might not be able to keep it on that cleansing head all the time. That's why I've put her in Relentless, so that I can, and she's 255 speed, enough HP, enough defense, enough. So you see a bit of resistance, but she's good enough for the provokes. Because I want her to go as frequently as possible to keep this hit provoked. One of the options that you might have built anyway fast enough is Seeker for the clan boss. You don't need much accuracy on Seeker for the clan boss, but if you can have some accuracy on him, and he's probably fast enough if you're using a Bat Eater comp, he can be sort of a revoker, though he's not as reliable. So I've shown you Molly stats. I think what's left is where's my Ugo? Yeah, so that's my Ugo. You see she's just in perception, speed, and immortal to give her some health. So I stacked her with HP because she heals the rest of the team based on her HP. So you want this number to be as high as possible. Decent defense, can use more. 249 speed, maybe I'll glyph it to be a bit more. An okay resistance for lower difficulties, and then again, not 350 accuracy, but she does fine on brutal. So that's my Ugo build. Who else do we have on the team? Acrasia is just built for damage, and also I think she's a bit too slow, but let's check her build anyways. She's on Relentless also for everywhere in the game. Show 200 speed. Well, not too bad actually. That's a good speed there, good attack. 70%, because in a lot of places I'm running her as lead, using her crit rate aura. So those are my 3 damage dealers. And then, oh yes, my Duchess and Swift Parries, that's for arena. Good HP. well, defense is not that good actually, if you look at it. Okay, speed, good resistance, and she doesn't need accuracy. So those are the six gems. Who else am I building there? I'm building Bivald of the Thorns, as I said. I might be even, I'm still farming masteries for Bivald. Well, yeah, but I don't think, yeah, no, he needs a lot of tuning there. Look at the stats. Bivald is a good champ to build there, but look at the stats from the other ones. And I'm building Mighty Uko in a stun set. That's also for some. I'm not settled yet on the gear, but good amount of HP. He needs to be much faster because he applies speed up and enough accuracy for him to apply the block buffs. So that's an idea on how the champs are built and what are we looking for, for the team. Let's check on Hell Hades website how we can check the needed stats and how we can check whether we have champs to fill in those roles or not. So on Hell Hades website, you go to the Raid Shadow Legends stages tool. This is the link I'll paste in the description below. And you can get it also, I think, from that drop down menu, but sometimes it's too heavy. You choose Hydra and then which rotation. Of course, in our case, it doesn't matter because we're building the same team for all rotations. So let's see, 3 whatever. I don't even know which rotation is which. And then let's go for brutal here. And of course, if you're building, like I said, for hard or for normal or for nightmare, you choose the right difficulty or stage from here. And then that tells you what are the stats for the heads. What are the important ones while you're building the team? The speed here because you want to be faster than all the heads, specifically for the block buffs and for the provoke. So you see here that's 200, 210, 120. This one is too slow, and 160. So you see here the fastest one is 210, but that's for this rotation. I think there are some faster hits there. So building above 230, you have good enough speed for the block buffs and provoke. What else? Here you see the resistance. It's telling you how much resistance. Is this how much resistance you need? And how much accuracy? Or is this the other way around? Probably that's how much. This is the accuracy of the head. So this is how much resistance you need. And that's their resistance. So this is how much accuracy you need. So you need minimum 260 accuracy, 280 here for that head, for example, and 400 resistance for that silly head. But anyway, like I said, because the resistance numbers are the worst, that's why we're ignoring it. So yeah, like I said, choose any rotation because we're building a single team for all of them. It will get populated with the heads and their specific stats. Yeah, here let's choose brutal again. And then you build based on the speeds, accuracy, resistance of the heads in that specific rotation or for all of them. So that's the first part of checking what stats are needed there. I have them on the notepad and I'll bring them up again for you. The second part is to check which champs got which buffs or debuffs to help us there. And I'll show you how to do this. This is Hell Hades website. This is the homepage. Just go to that search bar and search for any champs that you know have the debuff. Like for example, I know that Ugu got the block buffs that I need. So I'm looking here up. Oh, okay. Let's look for Mighty Uku. I might have misspelled Ugu's name there. Yeah. So Mighty Uku. Or I think might even get it from here. So those are debuffs and buffs. So let's go there. You see from the right hand side. Feel free to pause the video in case you're not following me fast enough. So you go to the buffs here. And what you're looking for is block buffs. It's the first one on the list. And that will tell you which champs got that specific skill. What we want is an AoE block buffs to apply it on all Hydra heads. So we have Archbishop Penthroy, also is a good support for Hydra. Deliana can do it. She's not the best, but she's free. Everybody got her. Kantra is conditional. She applies a lot of debuffs, and this is one of them. So I tried her. She's not reliable. Lady Kemi, of course, one of the best. Mighty Uko, That new guy might be good. I haven't tested him yet. More too, but he's not famous as being a Hydra champ. Phoenix, if you build him for the debuffs, but he's good to be built for the damage there. And here is Ugo, oh, it's double U. Umbra, like I said, but she lacks a couple of the other ones. Norog also is a good option here. He mitigates some of the damage that hits the team. So what I would say is that, like you said, they are mostly, and that's why Ugo is so important and famous. You might even build two Ugos for that because the rest of the options are legendary champs. So that's how strong she is. And we do exactly the same for the other buffs and debuffs. Like let's look up Provoke. And the good thing here is that because it's one head that needs to be provoked, you don't need to have an AoE provoke. So even a single target provoke will do the trick. So like I said, anger will work fine here. He also can hit a bit, he can hit hard if you build him with damage. If you got him, he's a void Lego. Bevald was a fusion. Was he now? I think so, yes. So he's a good option there. Drixar, but I think that Drixar is weak affinity towards cleansing head. Harima, Iron Brago. Iron Brago also is a good damage dealer and can be a provoker. Coronar is good as well. Of course, Krisk, if you have him. Martyr, Molly. So yeah, that's how. And then you go into the epic option, Turagi. Again, Umbral can fit both. The silly thing is that when Umbral applies her provokes for 2 turns, she locks her other skills. So you cannot use her block buffs effectively. And having her only for the provoke means that you're losing a spot for a single roll. So yeah, Vogos, Gnarlhorn, even a rare option there. But yeah, so that's how you look up the buffs and debuffs to see which champ you have that fills this role. And I've shown you the stats. Let's get back to the stats once more. So once more, these are the stats as the needed debuffs. I didn't mention buffs here like increase speed, increase accuracy, increase resistance, and all of that. Because like I said, I'm focusing only on the basic things that you must have for a successful Hydra run. AoE block buffs and provoke, I would say these are a must to have if you want to build a team for all rotations. Decrease attack is good for the damaging heads and the other ones. Decrease defense and weaken. You need at least 2 support champs and at least 2 damage dealers. And if any of the champs you have on the team can fill multiple roles, then it's much more preferable because like I said, there's too many stuff to do and like only 6 champs per team. What you should work on is that build your basic team. If you're early on, hit normal, get some damage, help your clan get it down, get the Mithrala fragments, and then start increasing the stats and regearing, which very silver intensive of course, to move up to hard and brutal. You don't need 3 teams. Well, you can have 3 teams if you have enough champs built, but because the Hydra builds are very specific, I'm not sure how far into the game you are, but you need to build 3 teams specifically for Hydra. For me, I've built one and almost optimized it. I need some speed on champs and stuff, and I'm building the second one. If not only like 1 key, but if I can do like 50 million damage on brutal and the same on hard with my 2 main teams, then I'm helping my clan get them down, and then with the leftover champs I can just 1 key normal. Plan for that. It's a bit into the end game. Don't stress if you cannot build a proper team for Hydra, hard or brutal early on. With decent max champs with masteries and even not fitting to the specific roles, you can 1 key normal and help your clan bring it down. I hope you like this one. Please like and subscribe. We're still targeting those 500 subs by end of March. Let's see how this would happen and keep playing Raid. Thank you.